Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Plastic Hype. I'm your host, John Lee, and it's my role here. It's my wish that I go through all the exciting and cool stuff that's coming out of the crowdfunding community, and of course, my favorite war game at the moment, which is Age of Sigmar from Games Workshop. So, usually, how this works is I'm going to go through all the stuff that's exciting to me, and I would like to share with all of you guys. It's kind of like my thank you back to the community and the hobby. And then separately, after we talk about some of the plastic hype in the Warhammer Age of Sigma world, what's new happening in that world, I'll also talk about the crowdfunded projects that's exciting. And then, if you stay till the end, I'll share with you a bit of what I'm doing so you can follow a little bit about my life. I'm just not just a talking head that does random videos. I actually have life as well. And then at the end, I try to throw in a hobby tip that I found it's been useful for me in my journey of hobbying. So I hope you enjoy the show, and let's get started. Alrighty, so first up, Adepticon. It's going to happen in a few days. I think in 3 days. It's going to be in the US, Central US. What that is about is um, we're going to have people. Oh, okay. I've got a warning before. Anyway, what I say. So we got real grown-ups dressing out as Warhammer characters. Awesome. We're gonna have real grown-ups dressing up as a soldier. I believe this is probably Acadian. And last but not least, we also they are going to go through a series of different games and different systems, latest news. So they're going to cover like the picture here. They're going to cover Kill Team. They're definitely going to cover Age of Sigmar. It's one of the best things happening, in my opinion, in the GW space right now. And of course, they're going to cover 40K and Horus Heresy, which is 30K. And now, interestingly, they have not included any news for Warcry in Age of Sigmar, but they're doing Q Team and Underworlds. So, go figure. All right. Now, what else is interesting? So Adepticon, even though we can't go ourselves, because this is in the middle of America, Illinois, I think. But for the rest of the people like us, in Australia, Sydney, they're going to be streaming on Thursday, 2 p.m. So we can watch along. Love to hear what they're releasing this year. I think that's going to be exciting. Yeah, so I look forward to that. One day, I might be there and doing coverage of Warhammer. Who knows? All right, moving on. Next thing, we have got some new animated series for Age of Sigmar in terms of Warhammer TV. Now, there's a screenshot of my Warhammer TV account. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. Anyway, my point is, if you have a look at what is available on the screen, there isn't a whole bunch of stuff for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. There's a whole bunch of stuff for 40K and other random things, or mostly 40K, and Age of Sigmar is not happening except in the battle report you see at the top here. So what is happening now is that Black Talon, Neve Black Talon, is going to get her own show. Now, I believe this is going to be a small, short animated series. So that's going to be super cool. I took some screenshots from the Warhammer community website. And if you want to check it out, they do have a short video on the Warhammer community website. I might leave a show note, a link in the show note after the show. And I guess for the people who have got Warhammer TV already, but forgotten that you actually have the subscription because for a while there wasn't much to watch, this might be a good reason to go back into Warhammer TV. Now, for me, I got Warhammer TV for some of the painting tutorials, some of the better reports when they talk about they have a new release and they play it through a battle report to explain the rules. I think that's cool. And I think I watched a couple of animations, but I never really got into it. Or I loved Lore Masters. So thanks, guys, for doing Lore Masters. Really like that one. And this will be a great reason for me to go back to Warhammer TV. So more Age of Sigmar, animated. That's only going to be a good thing. All right. What else have we got? Now there are two new factions that's up for pre-order right now. So the first one is Slaanesh, aka the Dark Prince, aka the Lord of Excess, and lots of other names. So of course, of this new release, they're going to have new dice, new Vanguard box, and new battle tome, and a new hero coming out. Now, what is exciting about this one? I think for me is I've watched a preview like from other content creators because it hasn't officially been released yet. I watched a preview and I looked at some articles on the Warhammer Community Hub. It sounded very thematic and they have great traits. Like it really fits what I think Slaanesh would do, which is access. I think that he even calls himself Lord of Pleasure. So this interesting group of people. And previously, the mechanics, so I heard, weren't very good. I think the last Battle Tome was released 2021, so it's been 2 years since the last one. Now, this one, what I found was they've got a few cool things, which I highlighted here. Right, in the last shows, I only used to talk about stuff. And now I try to do a bit of research and show them on screen. So for the people who are not super familiar with what's going on, you can still enjoy it and get something out of the show. Okay, so the first thing I think is cool is so this euphoric killers. Essentially, what happens is, well, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick a dueling couple. So one attacker, one friendly from you, one from the enemy, and then when they do mortal wounds, you get this DP, depravity points, and with that, you get a table to use them on. So if you don't use them, you stack up your points, your DPs. You can get faction-wide buffs. I think the first one's pretty cool. Subtract 1 to hit for attacks that target friendly units. That is huge, I think. And then, yes, mortal wounds at 24 is fine. But then on 36 plus, the bottom one here, Oblivious Indulgence. All friendly units get a 5+ ward. I think that's huge. Now, unless I'm mistaken, I believe there's also a tactic that you can achieve if you get 36 points, DP points, which means easy peasy. You just do your stuff and you get some points, you get buffs. I like the table. It's pretty cool. But for the people who don't know how the DP works, I think what happens is every time when you have a unit engaging in combat, and every time when your opponent misses you, so they want to do something and they failed, you can give them a dice. So if if they take that dice, then they're going to give you points. So you roll for that, and I think they take some damage. But the most important thing is they can choose to not take the dice, but if they choose to take the dice, it's a guarantee 6. So I guess what can happen is if you have a bunch of units, if you are playing Slaanesh, uh, you're fighting a weak unit, you can force to give him 6. So that means if he used a 6, it's not going to do much, but then it's going to give you some DP, and you're just going to rack up a lot of DP for some massive damage. So I think that is very cool. Now, what's not included in this, and I couldn't take a photo because hasn't been released because it's still up for pre-order, is you can use DP for summoning as well. So I believe uh, the Keeper of Secrets, which is their big model here on, I think this one, Keeper of Secrets, you can get. Actually, that's probably not. I don't know Slaanesh, but I know Keeper of Secrets is one of their centerpieces. Big model. If you pay 36 points, you can get that big model. Pretty cool. And of course, though, I think once you've burned those points, you no longer get these stats because let's say, for example, you've got 40 points, you spend 30 odd points or summoning a unit, then you only have 6 left, so you no longer get the buff. So I think there's some interesting choices there. Now, what I've also heard is they've got new 3 sub factions, and each sub faction is super unique. So they get their own units, they get they get their own traits, they get their own spells, they get their own artifacts. So it's quite unique, and this is one of them. So Pretenders is one of those sub factions, and I think this is super cool because this totally reminds me of Big War. So Big War is a different faction in the Destruction faction. If you have Mega Boss, you can Mega Boss on okay. I haven't used them, but the Mega Boss on the Big Cabbage, which is the Maw Crusher, you can do this. So when you issue a command, you can issue two, three other ones. I think that's pretty cool. So they're going to be in your face. Okay, so I have limited knowledge on Slaanesh. I just think they're super cool when I read it. I think it's worth talking about it because this really means I'm going to get a much better, higher chance of playing Slaanesh players. Wow, I have a hard time saying that name. I'm going to be able to play some Slaanesh players, and that's cool. So I don't play the same opponents all the time. So that's one cool thing. And then the second thing, second battle tome that's on pre-order right now, second faction, is the Blades of Khorne. Now, I think they have a few iterations, 2015, 17, and 19. And here we are, 2023, releasing the next one. So they really had a big gap. Now, what I understand is they kill more stuff. So if so easy to explain. Hey man, what does your faction do? Well, it just goes and smash stuff. The end. Yeah. So Blazer's Corn is all about killing the other units. So this on the right hand side here, this is what the Vanguard box will give us. And yeah. Now, what is cool about them is the Locus of Fury is a new ability that if you're 8 inches out, you get 5+ wards. So, well, what does that mean? If you're 8 inches out, that means you're definitely not in combat, not in any kind of combat. So that means you are immune to be shot at, which I think is cool. So if someone's playing 20 Judicators, okay, maybe 15 Judicators, which are bow units from Stormcast, um, if you get a 5+ ward, that is pretty huge. So that means it's going to be very hard to snipe you off because, of course, your ward only comes in play when it hits or when damage is dealt. So getting 33% chance to negate a damage from a shooting unit, that is huge. I think that's very cool. Now, it's also quite thematic here. If you get a chance to read the bottom, it says, if a friendly Blades of Khorne demon unit retreats and it does not benefit from the Locus of Fury for the rest of the battle. So as long as the demon retreats, you don't get it anymore. Okay. Now, second thing is, this says demons specifically. So this is a demon only trait. So if you get a lot of bloodbound warriors, so sorry. Yep, you don't get that buff. Which is why it's interesting to show the Bloodbound warrior buff as well. So this is called Murderous to the Last. Each time a friendly Bloodbound unit is slain by an attack with melee weapon, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of that model, which means in combat, and make a murder roll. A murder roll. Yep. By rolling dice. On a 5+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. And if the unit that died of yours was a hero, then you make 3 murder rolls instead of 1. Now, why is this interesting? This is every time a model has been slain. So what could potentially happen is you could throw a lot of cannon fodders into the mix and let them die, let them do their job, and then they get splash damage back. Cool. Add some new mechanics to it. Now, based on the summary that I read, Khorne sounds cool because they just got buffed, and they are pretty much anti-mage, from what I heard. So what happens is when they cast a spell, if you get a 5+, you just ignore it. What? I think that can be buffed as well as the game goes on. So that means if you have a very spell-centric army, Khorne is going to be pretty anti-maging you because not only does every time when you're trying to blow up their pieces, they can roll a ward and then nothing happens. When that triggers, they also get a blood tithe, which is their points, right? Their points table. And the more they get, the more carnage they do. Now, just to give an example of carnage, for 1 blood tithe, which means if you cast a spell to them and they flinged it off, they get to move 3 units, D3, during an opponent's turn. That's crazy. Crazy. Crazy good. So I look forward to seeing more. Now, on the right hand side, that Scar brand I got an image of. I still have a bit of battle shock from playing Scar brand last time. So I was playing against a local player here, John Daly in Sydney. He just smashed me with his 3 demons. I think it was a ability called Total Carnage. Just destroyed my big unit, my Star Drake, my Fulminators, my Adjudicators, all in one go. It's like, what? So I think Khorne's going to be really fun for people who just like to get into people's faces and slash. Khorne's great. So I really look forward to seeing more of Khorne on the table. Now, Khorne's not for me because I've got too many armies that I need to catch up on. But I think it's going to be awesome fun playing against Khorne. Now, it's also worth mentioning I saw I think grand strategy of Khorne. I've forgotten the name now, but what happens is at the beginning of the game, your opponent picks a hero of theirs, and when you kill that hero, you complete the grand strategy, which I think is super cool, so thematic. So you could have some pretty fun battles where you have a defensive and offensive centric role on the battlefield, and they're just trying super hard to protect the hero, and you're swarming all your demons and chaos warriors up the front. Very cool. All right, so that's Khorne. What else is cool? Let's have a look. Now, moving on to non-Warhammer stuff now. Townsfolk Tussle, 2nd edition, and Foul Neighbors. What a name. I think it's a great name. It's on Kickstarter right now. I've only heard good things about it because how it was described to me is it's all boss fights and no grind. So you don't feel like you're grinding a lot of little monsters. I'm thinking particularly a bad experience I had recently, the Dark Souls board game. Man, don't waste your time there. That's uh, that's my thoughts. Don't spend time on Dark Souls. Play a game like this instead, because Dark Souls is epic boss battles, but there's so much grind in the game. I just feel like a complete waste of time. But this game seemed to have only the fun parts, but not the grindy parts. Now, it would be amiss if I don't show these awesome animated pictures from the campaign itself. So here in the middle, we see I was going to say computer. Your enemies adapting and learning, and then on the left hand side we've got characters that's new, and then on the right hand side is you can see how when a boss comes into interaction with the players, it really changes the battlefield around them. So it's kind of cool. Now, so what is this about? You get lots of goodies in this one. You can back it in 3 different ways, I think. So you can go the basic one, which is only the new stuff. You can just back the old original reprint of Townfolk's Tussle, 2nd edition, of course. I think that one is 115, and the new kit is 100, and you can get them both for an epic like $5 to $10 discount. So forget the discount, but if you want to get the expansion and the original, it's probably worth it. Yeah, I think this one will be interesting for people who like boss battles. I love it. So yeah, okay. Next one. Battletomes, Dungeons of Everon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So this is a game from a battle system. Now, what is interesting is it's really a system, not so much a game. So this is dungeon crawler. It's narrative. You can play it in solo mode, and you can have friends, of course. So here in this picture in the middle, I just grabbed it off the campaign. You can see there are 3D walls in the middle. Like the whole thing has got a lot of 3D components onto it, but it's not the printed ones. So it's cardboard. You built them. It can be easily transported on the go, which I think is very cool. Or although I love terrains, I don't love storing them. And yeah, this is much easier. But this also means when you set it up, you got to put them together. But anyway, it gives you a fully immersive experience from my perspective. I think it's super cool because you get a lot of 3D pieces, which is great on the eyes. Yeah, it's good eye candy, but I think the mechanics is pretty good as well. Now, of course, it comes with heroes and you get monsters, but as the campaign go on, I imagine they can unlock more and more stuff. Now, this is on Kickstarter. I'll put the link in the show notes afterwards, just to show people, show you guys what this is all about. So, on the left-hand side is the new one. On the right-hand side is the original. So, you could just buy one, right? You can just buy the Dungeons of Everon. Enveron. I hope I'm saying this right. You can just buy the dungeon set, which is on the left. I think that's very cool because you don't, you know, for those of us who board games, you don't have to use this only for this game. You can clearly use it for your own D&D, your own storytelling. So you can do all of that. I think it starts at 100, and then you've got I've got my notes somewhere, but I lost it. So anyway, it's about $100 from memory, and then you can buy the old one. I think it's just for slightly higher. So that was what they call the core set. So it comes with all the goodies, and then you can buy both of them combined. I think for most people it's going to be that if you can afford it. The good news is mostly cardboard, so it's going to be quite easy to transport. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm on a motorcycle. It's very hard for me to bring a big game that's immersive around on a motorcycle for me. So I think that's cool. Now, I did do some research. So what happens is the people who've played the original, the core set, they say two by two, which is that 2x2 game. It took him about 20 minutes to set up, which I think is very reasonable because for other games, I can easily spend 15, 20 minutes setting it up. So it takes 20 minutes to set up. And I quote, he said, setting up the terrain is heaps of fun. It feels like Lego. So I think what happens here is they are all wars. So you get grooves that you can slot into each other like that. Pew! And then once you set it up, I guess you can lay it out in many different ways that fits your particular narrative, your particular story or campaign. So I think that is very cool that they're bringing more and more kits like this to the consumers like us. That could only mean a good thing. So Meldum, Dungeons of Enveron. I think it's pretty cool. All right, next one. This is a weird one. I I was thinking whether to include this one or not, but I think I am kind of hyped about this one as well, even though it doesn't have any miniatures. So this is to do with miniature tools. So they call themselves innovative tools. I think it's by Envy Games. Now, what happens is they have a I think that little thing is called Scrubby. It's called Scrubby. Now, why that is exciting to me, I'm hyped about this one is for those of you who paint miniatures, I don't know about you, but I don't like washing my brushes very well. And if there's a tool, a low cost tool that helps me to get the job done faster in a more enjoyable way, totally worth investing. So they have that scrubby, so you can scrub it with a normal brush, or you can do dry brush as well. I think that is very cool. And then on the other side, these are all the colors that comes with the new cup. So I guess what is this? You can buy the I think they've got that painting palette thing. There are paintbrushes, and then there's the scrubby that helps with cleaning brushes, and then there's a cup that can help you hold the brushes and also manage your brush and stuff. I'm not as excited about the cup, but I'm very excited about the scrubby. So as you can see here on the right hand side, they've got a scrubby in their cup, and the cup is the foldable ones. How do I feel about that? Not that excited about the cup. Okay, but I'm very excited about Scrubby. So let's talk about the pricing here. I believe this kit, this campaign starts at $10 US. So for $10 US, you get I think 4 palette guards. Who cares about? Oh, I don't care about that. For $14, you get the 3 brushes, but then the good stuff starts at 18 USD because when you have that, you actually get 2 items. You can get the scrubby or the cup. So I imagine for most people, like myself, who's excited about this, if we're going to go for it, we're going to go for the $18 one because you get a scrubby and you get a cool cup. All right, that's it. Now, this is an odd one. I think it's interesting. It's worth showing. So, this is called the Enchanted table. It's a portable, foldable, modular board game table. Wow, that's a mouthful. So, how it is portable is it comes in um, a little case like this, and then you can change the height. I think that is always important because, like some people like me, I'm playing with people of different height. I play board games with my son. He's 7, and if you only have one height for the table, he's not going to have as much of a good time. Nor me, if I know he's going to crush all my fancy miniatures, because it's not his fault. He just can't reach, right? So height is important. So that's the thing, and it's modular add-on. I imagine you're going to be able to buy heaps of stuff you can put onto the table, so you can make it multifunctional. Now, I'm sometimes a little bit skeptical about these multiple add-ons. I hope they include all the useful bits in the base pledge. And now, why I say I hope is, although I'm showing you these pictures from the actual campaign on GameFound, this is the Enchanted table. They haven't released yet. This is the preview version, which means we haven't been promised anything, and there's no pricing. Having said that, I think it's still pretty exciting because for people like myself, I'm sure there's plenty of us out there who have a lack of space to play a board game or enjoy our hobby, and having something that's modular, foldable, compact, multifunctional, that's a win, right? So I think the clutch is going to be: is this going to be priced right? How heavy is this, and how much is shipping? And one thing, yeah, I think it doesn't look the best. By my standards, it doesn't look bad, but I think some people may object to how the set looks. But then there'll be the rest of us, like me, who really appreciate the practicality of this table and would go for it. So there you have it. All right. So what have I been working on? Funny man, funny you asked that. Well, actually, you did, but I'm telling you. So I've spent the last 2 weeks, actually more than 2 weeks, working on the battle
In this
report.
video, we're going to be
So,
doing a 2,000
this
point
is on
battle
YouTube
report,
on our channel
a
already.
local
This
one-day
is the
event
3-game
hosted by
battle
Dice
report
Arcade back
where
in
I was
February.
playing
I
Sylvaneth,
brought along
and
my
check it out
2,000 point
to
Sylvaneth
Dice
army led by
Arcade for
General
some
Rawsong
real
Revenant.
carnage. It was
Well,
so
how did
good.
it do? Well,
So if you like a battle report, if you want to support me, support channel, check it out. Leave me a comment, see what you like. I'm learning how to do these battle reports, so it really took me much longer than I wanted, but I hope it got a good result. Now, I hope it will help some players who haven't played Age of Sigmar before, or anyone who's interested to get an entertaining report, because I narrated and cut the whole video. So it's not like I moved here, I moved there. It's going to be: the Warsong Revenant have just used the 3d6 special ability to cast the Warsong Bomb, and it blew up everybody. It's going to be more animated like that. So, yeah, do check it out. What else have I been up to? Well, um, I have been doing a little bit of hobby. So what I want to share with you guys this week is I want to talk to you about basing. So basing is a thing. I don't know about you guys. I want to show you my take because I mean, I've painted a few armies, but by no means am I an expert in the internet. So what I have show you here is I had a Durthu. I was painting a Durthu for that 2001 event that I showed you in the previous video. And after I base him, I put Battle Maya on him, and I got some Gammas grass and I got some dry grass, and just sprinkled on, and it looked like that, right? So it went from a white base to something that looks better. Okay, that's cool. So I've been doing that for my entire Sylvaneth army. And then I decided to try something new, which is what I want to introduce you guys if you haven't seen or heard this yet. Coffee grounds. So I love coffee. What I did was, after I make my coffee, I just save my coffee grounds, and I wanted to base my Alario the Everqueen's Beetle base. Now, this base is huge. I actually happen to have the miniature of me here. Um, it's huge. Like it's almost as big as my face. So what I did here is, oh, anyway, I'm going to show you. I put the mixture of the coffee grounds with PVA glue and a bit of water, and then after I mixed it, I put the base with PVA glue, and then I put the coffee grounds on top of it and let it dry. So it's been drying for about. So right now it's been drying for about. Couldn't put it in front of my face. I think it's okay. It's trying to block it out because I put the background on. Now, when I touch this, it's still a bit soft. So I wonder if it's going to stay soft after it dries. I'm going to, of course, let it dry a bit more. I hope it works. Otherwise, it's going to ruin my Lero the Everqueen base. The plan here is after it dries, if you can see, I mean, you can't see it on my hand. I just want to show you that I'm actually working on this. If you can see on the right hand side on that picture, you can see the texture is actually pretty good. I mean, if you compare that to my previous Durthu, right? Which is this one, yeah. It's oh, okay. Newbie alert. Okay. This one, I think it looks all right because of the grass. If I didn't have grass on it, it wouldn't look half as good. Yeah. Compare with this process took me about 5 to 10 minutes. Came to this. It's so satisfying because it adds a lot of volume to the base, and that is really really cool. Because if you use the GW Sterling mud, it's gonna cost you so much money, right? It's $13 a bottle. Yeah, you can't last very long. But this one, it's practically free because you've already paid for coffee, you drank the coffee, and now you just put it on the base. How cool is that? So I'm after this dries, I'm gonna seal it and then I'm gonna put some grass on it. And that's what I'm gonna do. Now, if this works, I'm gonna try my entire army for the next maybe 3,000 points with this technique and see how it works. Because honestly, it was quite satisfying to put the coffee onto the base of this model. Um, and I think it's going to work out quite well. And so, with that, that's all we have for today. I'm getting closer to 30 minutes now. I'm quite happy about the timing. Um, I would like to, of course, thank you for watching. And if any of this is useful to you, if this you find this amusing or informative in any way, now would be a great time to show a bit of support by hitting that like button, give me a comment, or even better, subscribe. It will cost you nothing, but it will mean a lot for us. And as this channel grows, I will be able to do more content. So there you go. Now, next week, I'm going to get back and do another YouTube video to cover one of the new Kickstarters I've just received last month. I'm super excited about this one. It's really, really awesome. Levi loves it. He says, "Oh, this is so amazing." Now, if you want to know what that is, then you're going to have to stay tuned because after we finish the video, we'll release it to everybody. And as usual, um, hope you have fun, get more games on the table, and hope you level up together with the rest of us. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.